This child's pose is wonderful to help give us feedback and inform us how we're feeling today, our internal state. This child's pose is a great way to access the powerful reach of our breath. When we sit for long periods, our lower bodies literally turn off and become inactive. We adopt positions that cause the upper body to slouch forward and collapse. This child's pose is a wonderful way to counteract that. But use your breath to facilitate all of that spaciousness. We're meeting ourselves here, as though for the first time. What moves as you breathe? Where are the spaces that need your attention? See if you can send your breath to those spaces. When you're ready to come out of child's pose, look forward and reach your arms forward. Take your time to slowly come up to hands and knees. We're going to have a seat. Any way you get to seated is fine. Maybe you'll need a block nearby. Bringing support nearby in case you may need it. And then find your seat on your mat. Lean your hands behind the hips. Bring your feet wide to the outer edges of your mat with your knees bent. You can lean back, maybe drop the knees from side to side, but do so slowly and mindfully. With the feet wide, there's some space. As the knees drop, feel it in the lower back and the outer hips. Maybe let the shoulders move in the opposite direction. Just feel the reach all along your spine. Again, as we stay, we can get some feedback. And then decide if you're going to move into your Baddha Konasana with the block beneath the feet, the outer edges of the ankles, or bring 2 blocks to the outer edges of the knees. So your knees are bent wide like butterfly wings. Take a moment to find the reach in your spine, ears over shoulders, over hips. Hands can reach in front of you. The closer the heels are, the more you'll feel that in the back of the legs. The further the heels are from your body, the more you'll feel that in the inner thighs. Chest forward if you'd like to. Maybe with the sides of the body long, feel the reach of the arms along the ears overhead. And try it out, forward fold here in your Baddha Konasana, reaching the arms out further in front. You can bring your chin in closer towards your chest, as though you're reaching the top of the head towards the top of the mat. Maybe support feels really nice. Bend the elbows to rest, and rest your chin in your palms. Staying here and observing the sensations in the lower back, along the spine. Let the shoulders round forward, round the spine. Play around with the position of the arms. Maybe they want to reach out further away with the palms open. This is a great pose for getting some feedback in the lower body. If you stay a little longer and find you can create more space, do so. Maybe position the blocks a little lower. I like to compare this pose to flossing our teeth. Plaque builds up in areas that are stagnant. So this is a great pose to do on the regular, on the daily, just like flossing your teeth. The whole body benefits from this pose. Stay a little longer if you can. Try not to bounce the knees. Slowly sink forward, but only as far forward as you can maintain that smooth evenness of your breath. Continue to recognize any thoughts that may be entering the mind. Continue to notice how your slow, mindful practice helps you to release tension. Slow down those thoughts. Bring a little mental focus and clarity into the moment, into your day. You can move your blocks out of your way as we stay a little longer for our Baddha Konasana, this forward fold. As we come slowly out of this forward fold, use your hands to help you. Bring them closer to you, press into them. Walk the hands in as you lift your torso, your spine. Chest forward. Take a moment to notice how it feels to be upright once more. Hands can reach back behind the hips. Lean into the hands behind you. Bring the knees back in slowly. Maybe pull your toes back toward your knees. And then again, separate your feet wide, maybe towards the outer edges of the mat or even on the floor. Pause here. If you'd like to drop the knees from side to side, do so, but do so slowly. No rush to move. Should feel wonderful all along the spine, the outer hips. And from here we'll bring our feet together. Have your blocks nearby in case you may need them. We're going to reach our legs further forward onto the mat so we have some space behind us towards the back of the mat. You may want an extra towel or blanket here for extra cushion. Just have that nearby, maybe towards the back of your mat. Okay, so legs are long in front of you. Take a moment to pull your toes back and forth. Get length through the entire reach of your legs. And then we're going to bend just the right knee. Take the outer right ankle to the top of your left thigh. Drop your right knee out externally. Maybe again lean back, chest forward, and just finding some space with that rotation of the right knee. Pull your right toes towards the knee to protect the ankle and the knee. Now you have the option of staying right here. Keep reaching that right knee out. Maybe for a little bit more of a stretch, the left foot comes onto the mat with the knee bent. You can decide if you want to lean further back, maybe onto the elbows, the forearms. You might even come all the way down to lie back and rest along the spine. Option to stay here. The front left foot can further away or closer to you. Play around. So these are your options. Option 1 and 2. Maybe take a third option if you'd like. Come onto your mat, onto hands and knees, tabletop position. Position the shoulders over the wrist. And then bring your right knee behind your right wrist. The foot comes out to the left side of the long edge of your mat. Left leg now, take your time, reach it back behind you. Use your toes to do that. You may want that extra cushion or a block beneath your right sitting bone. Find a moment here. Maybe gently rock the hips from side to side. Find an evenness. Keep reaching out through your back left foot, the toes. Maybe come up a little higher using your fingertips on the mat to lift you. Center of the palm lifts. Try this out a couple breaths if you like. Take your inhale, puff your chest forward as though you're reaching your chest through the gate of the arms. On the exhale, pull your belly in and maybe slightly look towards your right shoulder. Pull the hip in. A couple times here. Forward through the inhale. Not really a twist on the exhale, but look to your right. Pull the shoulder, the hip back. You absolutely can stay right here. Maybe you're using a block or a support for your forearms, your elbows to rest, and you're coming more into a forward fold. Take your time, move slowly and incrementally. If you like to stay more upright, you can. Maybe there's more of a reach forward through the chest, the crown of the head more towards the front of your yoga mat. You can decide if it comes further forward to rest your forehead on your forearms or your palms. A little shift in the hips, the shoulders, they should feel even. You should feel a nice reach through both legs. Front right knee that's bent, feel it in the hip. Feel it through the back reach of your left leg as well. Again, if this doesn't feel right for you, if you feel like your breath feels forced or uneven, or maybe there's some kind of pinching somewhere, find a different variation. You could always come back down to rest along the spine as you hug your right knee in. Check in with yourself. Notice if you're gripping anywhere. Maybe you're gripping your teeth, your jaw. See if you can create a little bit of space between your upper and lower jaw, your upper and lower teeth. Maybe you're resting your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Great way to keep checking in. Find length in the spine. Let this be a meditation on the breath, sensations within. Last few breaths here. If it feels useful to take the arms further forward, you can. No need to make any particular shape or aesthetic of the pose. Just find the reach that works for you. As we come out of that, we'll use our hands to, again, help us to lift up, bring them in closer, lift the spine, the chest. Move your props out of your way. Now you can come out of this any way that feels useful. Maybe lean back into your right sitting bone, your right side. And then take your time as you reach your left back leg forward. So we're all going to meet seated. Any of those variations you might have been in. Take your time to slowly come back to seated. Spine upright. Slowly reach your legs out in front of you. Again, take your time. Hands behind the hips, lean into them. Find the reach of your heels, your toes, the reach of your legs. Counter pose here. Feet again can be wide, knees bent. Knees can drop gently from side to side. Notice maybe any differences between your right and your left side. Pause and notice the difference. If you like to, you can bicycle out the legs. Kick out from one heel to the next, bending one knee as you do, reaching out through the legs one at a time. Leaning into the hands, just take another breath here. This can feel really wonderful for the hips. All right, we'll do that second side. Meet with the legs long in front of you. Pull the toes back. Maybe take a pause here with the knees bent, spine long, ears, shoulders, hips stack. Return to your breath. Okay, second side. Remember your options. Lean back, legs long. This time it's the left knee to bend. There's a little nook, a little space in the outer ankle. Bring it to the very top of your right thigh. Bring the left knee out. Pull the toes toward the knee. You can again stay here, lean back. Keep a bend in the elbows as you do to keep those shoulders away from your ears. Maybe your right foot wants to come onto the mat. A little bit more of a deeper stretch for that left hip. You could always lower back. Again, feel free to lie back completely along your spine as you keep the left knee bent at that same angle and just hug it in. So these are your options, option 1 and 2. Maybe stay here. The side can be different than the other side, so decide for yourself. Or, coming into our more traditional pigeon pose on our mat, come back to your hands, your knees, tabletop position. Shoulders over wrist. Maybe have that extra cushion or block nearby for the left side. All right, once you're organized, bring the left knee behind your left wrist. Now the knee could always come in closer, maybe toward the middle of the body as you take your left leg out to the right side of your mat. The shin bone does not need to be parallel to the front edge of your yoga mat. Find the angle that works. Reach back slowly, incrementally. Take your time with your right leg finding more length behind you. Again, maybe a block beneath your left sitting bone, maybe an extra cushion, a towel, or a blanket that you've folded up. Keep the spine more upright. Stay here. Notice the reach in both legs. Try not to dump too much into the front left leg. Find reach to the back right leg as well. And then maybe again you're finding more reach. The center of the palms lifting. Come up onto the fingertips. Inhale, puff up the chest. Look forward. And then exhale, pull your belly in. And maybe look more towards your left side. A little bit of a gentle twist. A couple times like that. Imagine on the inhale that you're squeezing your front left knee and your back right knee in. Exhale, let them sink a little further away from each other as you sink. So this is a great way just to find the spaciousness in the hips, the lower back, along the spine. You absolutely can stay more upright here. Maybe you want to come more forward. Use blocks for the hands. Find a height of your block or your support and rest your elbows, your forearms. Pull the toes in toward the knees to protect the ankles, the knees, the hips. And if you like a block beneath the forehead, maybe even 2. Play around. There's no right or wrong way. Get creative. Find what you have available. Use what you can to create a little bit of a lift and support. Pause here. Maybe a gentle shift between shoulders and hips. Find an evenness in your breath. See if you can stay. Another little trick is to stack your fists, one on top of the other, and rest the forehead, especially if you don't have a yoga block. Again, use what you have available. What does it mean to be present? Can you notice your breath and sensations within? Bring yourself into your body. Recognize your breath, recognize your thoughts. Just witnessing this moment as it unfolds in front of you. Witnessing this moment as it unfolds in front of you. Pausing, drop deeper into your breath. Last few breath cycles here. See if you can turn on different parts of your body with your breath. All right, we come slowly out of the forward fold. Use your hands, your arms, bring them in closer, lift your spine. And come back to tabletop, out of the pose in any way that feels good for your body. Maybe move your props out of your way, lean into your left sitting bone, your left side. You can use your hand to reach around and just guide your back right leg forward once more. So in any of those options you may have been in, we'll meet back in a sitting position on our mat, facing the front of the mat once more. Slowly reaching the legs out long in front. Again, take your time. Maybe stay. Knees can be bent, elbows bent, lean back. Feel free again to reach out through the legs like you're riding a bicycle. Just leaning into the weight of the hands behind the hips to do so. Again, that can feel nice. It's an option. Another option is to bring the feet onto the outer edges of the mat and just drop the knees from side to side. Okay, we're going to keep the knees pointing to the right. Bring the toes in closer to you. Lean to that back right hand and then take your left arm and reach both arms beyond the right knee, maybe on fingertips. So the knees are bent, the toes pull in. Feel free to reach beyond towards the right, maybe even come back further with both hands to the back short edge of your mat. You can lower your right elbow forearm onto the mat for more support, and then reach your left arm even further away from the body, maybe to the right or maybe towards the back of your mat. A couple breaths here with the knees deeply bent. Your seat may feel uneven, but the shoulders should feel lined up, left and right. Absolutely feel free to stay here. Maybe you're using a block beneath the forehead or support that you may have available. If you like, you can walk the hands in closer to the outer right hip. Plant the right palm, and if you have no issues with your knees, you can try this out. Lift your seat, come onto the knees, reaching the torso long. Take that left arm up and reach towards the back of your mat. Maybe stay, maybe move with the breath, reaching through your spine, but feel the reach, the wave, and the space around your heart. One more breath here if you'd like. Look up on the inhale. Pull the chin, the belly in. Look down on the exhale. And then lower your seat. Come out of that slowly. Reach your chest forward. Your shoulders unwind first. Then unwind the legs and the lower body. Lean back. Option to drop the knees from side to side. Again, pause and notice any differences between sides. Pause and return to your breath. The knees can always just stay here, tented inward for a little pause. Or again, reach out through the legs. Leaning back through the hands. Just reach out through one leg at a time. We'll do that second side, feet wide, maybe even wider than the outer edges of the mat. Drop both knees to the left, but bring your heels in closer towards you, towards your seat. We'll reach around with the right arm towards the left side, beyond the knees. Maybe you know right away that you want to take it further back towards the back of your mat. Lower your left forearm and elbow and reach the right arm, again finding the reach that feels best for you. The knees are bent, but the toes pull toward the knees. The heels reach in a little closer to you. Again, there's an evenness in your seat, your hips, and that's okay. But try to find, or an unevenness in your seat, your hips, but try to find an evenness in your shoulders if you can. And breathe here. Notice your tendencies. Are you gripping? Can you soften? Gather feedback and use this feedback as direction to come back to balance and harmony in the body. Okay, again, if you like, you can stay or maybe walk the hands in, come more upright. Left palm is planted. If it feels okay in your knees, you can always skip lifting the seat and just reach the right arm up and over. Maybe you're lifting your seat, coming onto the knees, reaching the spine long and pulling that right arm further back. Again, maybe there's a movement You're lifting through your heart space, pausing with the breath. This is a wonderful strengthener for the shoulders, the upper back. Wonderful way to release the lower back and get beautiful space in the area around the heart. Last breath here. Lower slowly with your seat. Bring your heart, your chest forward. Shoulders unwind first, reaching towards the front of the mat. Then unwind the lower body, the hips and the legs. Remember your options. Any option works. You don't have to find movement. You can always stay with the knees tented in towards the middle of the mat. Maybe you want a little bit more movement. Again, just witnessing how you're breathing, witnessing this moment as it unfolds. So take a moment, both sitting bones are on the mat. We'll wrap one arm and then the other arm around that bent right knee. Use your hands to grab hold of something, maybe the upper arms or the elbows or the wrist or somewhere in between. You want that right foot planted. Pull the knee in towards the torso with your arms wrapped around it. Keep the chest lifted and forward. You can stay here. We're hugging that right knee in, feeling it in the outer right hip, the outer right thigh. Maybe the left knee wants to bend as well. Bring the heel in closer towards you. So if you're bending both right knee, which is skyward, and left knee, which is facing the front of the mat, you want your sitting bones on the mat firmly. If you can't find that, reach back out through your left leg. Again, hug the knee in, right knee towards the body. You can stay here, chest forward. Keep breathing into the outer right hip and thigh. Maybe, with the left arm still wrapped around the right knee, reach your right arm back behind you. Thumb spins down, palm spins away. Maybe you're bending the elbow, so you're reaching the arm towards your lower back. Try this out. Inhale, puff up the chest, squeeze the palms in, elbows wide. And then on the exhale, look back towards your right shoulder. Gentle twist. A couple times like that. The hands are like a frame for the spine. Squeeze them in, but lift your chest forward. Tall, nice, long, back of the neck. And then as you keep that length in the spine, twist. Look toward right shoulder. Last breath here. Unwind the shoulders first to come out of that. Lean the hands behind the hips. And we'll unwind the legs. Again, find the reach of the legs in front of you. Maybe there's movement. Maybe there's stillness. Choose the option that works for you. Okay, guys, we'll come back to that. Lengthen our legs. We're going to do our twist on the other side. Move the flesh beneath your sitting bones, crown skyward, chest forward. Reach the toes back. Lean with your hands behind the hips. Left knee bends. Bring the foot to the outer right thigh. So cross left foot over the right leg. Wrap the arms, the crook of the elbows around that bent left knee, which is pointing towards the ceiling. Hug the knee in towards you. You want your left foot planted, your right toes pulled back towards you. And we're just going to hug the knee in, take a few breaths here. Notice your outer left hip. Notice your left thigh. Again, if you'd like to bend the right knee as well, You can. Pull the right heel in towards you. So left knee is skyward, right knee points to the front of your yoga mat. Keep your arms reaching around that bent knee. Squeeze in. Grab hold of something with your hands to do that. Keep the back of your neck long. Feel free to stay here. Keep puffing up the chest. Breathe deeply. Just notice how the hips and the lower back feel. Maybe for a little bit more of a twist, you're going to just reach your right arm around the left knee. The left arm reaches back behind you towards the back of your mat. Thumb down, palm spins away. Bend the elbow and reach the hand towards your lower back, if you'd like. Now inhale, hug the palms in, elbows wide. Exhale and look towards your left shoulder, towards the back of your mat. Take your time and stay with your breath. Rising on the inhale, root down through sitting bones, but lift your heart. Twist gently on the exhale, pull the belly in toward the spine. Use your arms, your hands as like a framework. Squeeze the arms in, the palms in, but let those elbows bend out wide. Come out of that slowly, look forward. Unwind the shoulders. Lean back and then unwind your legs. Again, remember your options. You can stay in stillness or find movement. Choose what works for you. Okay, reach your legs out in front of you. Make some space on your mat. We're going to come all the way back down to rest. So take your time, find some space, lie back. If you've got a ponytail or a bun or anything that might get in the way from finding length in the back of the neck, now's a good time to move that out of your way. Maybe bring your head into your palms. You can always bend your knees and plant your feet to do that. And just drop your chin from side to side. It's a great way to find reach through the back of the neck. Feel your collarbones broad, maybe the elbows drop out a little wider. Okay, head comes back down, nice and easy. Shoulders and hips line up. You should be able to slide your palms beneath your lower back. There should be a space there. Maybe press more into your tailbone so you can find it. And then go ahead and take your time to reach your hands out now towards the outer edges of your feet. Maybe your fingers brush the back of your heels. Come into a bridge pose. Lift your seat, lift your hips. You're pressing into the back of the shoulders and evenly into your feet. Squeeze your knees together. If you have a yoga block, you can lower your lower back onto it, or bring your palms to support your lower back, your outer hips. We won't be here long. It's a gentle back bend. There should be no pinching in the back of the neck. Keep a little bit of space between chin and chest. All right, we'll lower our seat. Move your block if you had one. Come back down nice and slowly. And just release the arms and release the legs. Nice length through the legs, maybe heel-toe your feet. Pull the toes back toward the knees. And then bring the inner edges of your feet together. As though you're standing on your mat in Tadasana, mountain pose. Now you're going to reach your arms up so that you're grabbing hold of your elbows. Just reaching your arms to the very top of the head, elbows wide. And then try this out. Bring your head to your right and walk your feet to your right, so that you're making a crescent shape with the body. You want to keep your shoulders, your hips on the mat. And then maybe cross your left ankle over your right. Keep your chin more skyward, a little bit of space between chin and chest. So in this crescent pose, we're getting a nice reach into the left side body. Again, crown towards the right, heels toward the right. Maybe if the arms feel like they're fatigued or if there's any numbing, you could always release the hands and rest the hands on your torso or beside you. Again, you want to keep your shoulders and your hips on the mat. If your left hip and shoulder have lifted, then adjust. Keep them on the mat, chest toward the ceiling, towards the sky. Breathe into the left side of your body, the space between the hip and the shoulder. Continue to breathe deeply here. Maybe you're feeling it in the outer left thigh, the space between the hip and the knee. No gripping in the eyes or jaw. Continue to gather feedback with your breath. We'll just take a few more breaths here in this crescent pose. Maybe your hands rest on your torso. Come back to your center. Okay, come out of that, release the arms. Crown more towards the center of the mat, and then uncross the ankles and bring your feet back to center. Again, like you're standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. We'll do the other side. Reach the arms overhead, bend the elbows, and grab hold of them with your hands. Bring the top of the head towards your left, and then walk your feet towards your left. Again, we're making a crescent shape, or the shape of a banana, this time reaching into the right side body. If you like to, you can cross right ankle over left ankle. Again, if there's any numbing in the arms, release the hands. You can still reach the top of the head towards the left. Keep both shoulders, both hips firmly on the mat. If right side has lifted, adjust. Stay here as best you can. We're breathing into the right side of the body. See if you can find the breath between right hip, right shoulder. Maybe you're even feeling that in the right IT band, the space between right hip and right knee. Notice breath and sensations within. Keep bringing yourself back into your body. This is a great way to find length. Let your hands rest on your torso, your center once more. Last few breaths here. Allow yourself the opportunity to breathe. All right, uncross the ankles. Bring the top of the head back to center. Maybe rest your hands on your center. Just rest here. Pause and notice the difference. Bend your knees, and then we're going to come up to seated. But I'll invite you to roll onto your right side and come into a fetal position before you do. So pause for a moment here with the knees bent, feet on the mat. And then go ahead and drop both knees from side to side. Just like we did seated. Okay, so now we're going to come into that fetal position, roll onto the right side. Right arm can be used as a pillow. Pause here. Notice the fullness of your breath. Knees are bent and stacked. Use your left hand now. Press that into the mat in front of you and come up slowly to seated. Take your time. There's no rush to come upright. Pause. Notice how you're breathing. Now we're going to need a wall space to end the practice. Find a clear wall somewhere nearby. Scoot yourself, maybe your yoga mat, closer to it. It doesn't matter which side, but find an outer hip towards the side of the wall. And then lie back. You might want a blanket or towel or a yoga block nearby. You're going to find your legs on the wall now. You can bring your support beneath your lower back, but use your upper arms, your forearms, and your elbows to scoot your lower back, your seat closer to the wall, as close as you can. Again, maybe there's an extra cushion beneath the lower back. Line your shoulders with your hips. Reach your toes back towards your knees. Imagine you're standing on the ceiling. Your feet should be active. Maybe there's a little bit more space between each foot. Maybe there's a little bend in the knees. Again, shoulders over hips. There should be a nice neutral feeling in the back of the neck. Maybe your hands rest on your torso. As we stay here with the legs on the wall for support, we're going to gather feedback. This is an inversion. The arms can reach wherever they feel comfortable, maybe on your legs, alongside you, or again on your center. Close your eyes if you can. This is a wonderful inversion. Head and heart are lower than the hips. Your heels reaching skyward. You're increasing circulation. It's a great pose to do at the end of a long day. Maybe if you're having a hard time sleeping at night, or if you have a headache, try this pose out. I consider this pose to be, again, a great pose to do on the regular, every day if you can. We're going to find a 3-part breath in this pose. Take a deep breath in through the nose and a slow breath out through the nose. We'll take our time to breathe in thirds, 3 parts. The first half of your inhale inflates your belly and your lower abdomen. The second half of your inhale inflates your chest and your upper abdomen. And then that third part of the breath is one long, slow exhale to empty it all out. So let's try that together. Again, breathe in through the nose, feel the lift in your belly. Continue to breathe in even fuller, feel that lift in your chest. And then slowly exhale to clear it out. See if you can stay in this 3-part breath. Stay here as long as you like, continuing to deepen your breathing, continuing to notice the effects of this fuller, deeper breath. Be yourself breathing. Enjoy.